From the underground to the world stage. One stage, countless voices. The conversation that shapes culture, politics, entertainment, and society. Politicians, comedians, musicians, actors, public servants, leaders, unfiltered, unscripted, unmissable. This is Debated Live.
Because I am telling you, this is not a battle between left and right. At some point, we believed that. Tyler Robinson was just released.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Vuvix TV. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Vuvix TV. Today, we dive into one of the most explosive political dramas of our time, a story of loyalty, loss, betrayal, and a woman who refused to stay silent. This is the story of Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA, and the investigation that has split people all around the world right down the middle. Stay with me, because by the end of this episode, you will understand why everything changed and why the next chapter might be the most important one yet.
You're watching Debated! Follow new episodes every week. Keep it locked.
The assassination that shocked America. It began on September 10, 2025. Charlie Kirk, the head of TPUSA, live on the university stage. Cameras are rolling. He's doing what he does best, debating with the audience. Students are watching, and then gunshot, panic, chaos. Charlie was gone. Authorities quickly named a suspect, case closed, or so they thought. Because while the media framed it as a lone shooter, one voice refused to accept the explanation. Enter Candace Owens.
Where should we begin? I'll tell you this, something is not right. Something is not right. And I am going to need you, whoever it is that's listening to this podcast right now, to wake up. Because I am telling you, this is not a battle between left and right. We all thought that at some point. We believed that. You're my enemy, you're my enemy. It is not a battle between Russia, Ukraine. I don't care what your political issue of the day is. What is happening right now in the world and what just happened to my friend Charlie Kirk is a battle of sheer evil versus goodness. What do I have for you guys today? Okay, well, first and foremost, the indictment against Tyler Robinson was just released, and I have a lot of questions that I think need to be answered regarding his trans boyfriend, Lance Twiggs. Well, I just spoke to a family member who told me a lot about Lance Twiggs because the media is kind of presenting him as this do-gooder. You might be interested to know that his family has a different perspective. Also, Turning Point employees are contacting me, a lot of them, okay? And I am not liking what I am hearing from them about things that took place leading up to that Hamptons event, some changes at the organization in the months leading up to that event, and what had been happening more broadly at the company over the last year. Speaking of which, Bill Ackman, you may have caught that he responded to me about the Hamptons with a lot of words to really say nothing at all. And I want to be clear, I am not done, okay?
And what she said next sent shockwaves through the entire movement.
Charlie Kirk's death is really just a beginning. First and foremost, what always stood out to us about this shooting was Decoy Boy, right? We're all on social media. We all watch the news. We have all, whether we wanted to or not, witnessed, thanks to social media and the news, a lot of shootings. A lot of shootings, whether it's gang related or otherwise. And I have to say, I don't know if I'm the only one, never in my entire life have I seen a situation when a shooting happens and then somebody completely unrelated to the shooting that just happened jumps up and down and says that they did it and gets arrested for saying that they did it, implying that they did it. Well, for whatever reason, George Zinn, who is a 71-year-old man, was moved to do that, right? Instantly. Charlie Kirk gets shot. Suddenly, the 71-year-old man jumps up and creates what is obviously some sort of a distraction. Okay, we have eyes, we can see that. That's not normal. He creates a distraction. So let's just take a look at this clip of him being arrested in the aftermath of the shooting.
That's right, the main sign.
Well, now it's about to get even stranger because since he's been arrested, he's now facing charges of obstruction of justice because he didn't do it, right? Why would you do that? Why would you obstruct justice in this manner? And now, in addition to those charges, we learn that he's been harboring images of child abuse, okay?
This was not a simple lone shooter story. That was a first public statement, short, sharp, and a direct challenge to the official narrative. And from that moment, the whole story changed forever.
As you are all I worry about, love. I'm much more worried. The roommate says, Lance says, I'm much more worried about you. Robinson says, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. How you guys feeling about that? Yeah. Mark is going to jump on and say something. Go ahead, Mark. Yeah, he's the guy that's always in my ear.
Not always. I just noticed that around some of these exchanges, there's ellipses above them.
You're breaking up a little bit. What'd you say?
Around some of these exchanges, there's ellipses above, if you look really closely.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're cherry picking certain exchanges. So that my dad is super MAGA just comes out of nowhere because they picked it from a totally different part of the conversation.
Yeah, these messages are clearly doctored, is what I would say. They're doctored. Now, they could decide why they're doing that. Tyler's being forthcoming. We're protecting him in some capacity. I find that to be unacceptable. Okay? Unacceptable. I want every single text message. I want timestamps. It is conspicuous that you are not telling us when this was sent because it sounds like it's when the campus is on lockdown and he's got to go back and he's got to clean up. And then all of a sudden we're in the next day when his dad is getting clued in after the picture's been released. They're not telling us that. Okay. And you have a right.
You see, many expected Candace Owens to mourn quietly, pay tribute and move on. But instead, she did the unthinkable. She questioned her own circle. She hinted. She suggested betrayal. She promised evidence. I will be naming names. Those were exact words. Supporters say this was courage, not political courage, but human courage. What you will do when you lose your best friend. The kind you only see when someone is willing to risk their job, their career, their fame, their relationships, their reputation for what they truly believe in, which is the truth. And in that moment, Candace crossed a line that she could never come back and she could never back down, showing that morals go before fame, money, and fakeness. Let's be real. Doesn't matter what you believe her belief is. Doesn't matter what she said in the past. Look, it's okay to disagree with somebody. It's okay to say, look, you know what? I don't agree with everything you're saying. But it's not okay to say when something so evil takes place, as people who are child of the Most High Yahweh, something evil takes place, you decide to run under the table and hide. The one thing we've seen with Candace Owens is the courage, the tenacity, the consistency to say, I am going to fight regardless of whether you blackmail me, you cancel me. And that, my friends, is what I call courage.
Come on. Please, one bar?
Work, you silly thing.
Just connect.
Downloading.
Directions. I need directions.
Stop struggling. Stop buffering. Stop begging for Wi-Fi.
Whoa, no way.
This is it. Travu?
Activate and connected.
Several weeks passed. Candace went deeper and deeper. She shared private texts. She talked about internal threats. She pointed at foreign interference. She claimed Charlie himself once warned that he might be killed for his activism. The internet exploded. Half of the world said she was brave. Half of the world said she was dangerous. Half of the world said she was bad crazy. Half of the world said she was a conspiracy theorist. But Candace did not flinch. Instead, she said this was bigger than loyalty, bigger than politics, bigger than Candace herself. And supporters now viewed her not as a commentator, but as an investigator, a whistleblower, someone pulling a thread that no one else dared to touch. Turning Point USA finally stepped in. TPUSA responded, and not quietly. They publicly invited Candace Owens to appear on the Charlie Kirk show, live, face-to-face, to present her evidence and defend her claims. The date was meant to be on the 15th of December, 2025. This was not a backstage meeting, not a private phone call. This was a public confrontation in front of millions, and Candace accepted instantly. I accept. Let us do it tomorrow, she said with confidence. No hesitation, no fear, no retreat. Supporters celebrated. They said, finally, the truth will be tested. Finally, everything will be laid bare. This was no longer going to be commentary. This was theater. This was politics meets investigating journalism meets courtroom drama. The truth finally gets revealed. Human interaction, human truth, and real collective evidence being put on the table. So TPUSA, they set up a date. They mentioned 15th of December. Candace pushed back. They wanted a face-to-face. She said she was not consulted. It wasn't done in the proper way. She wasn't sent an email. She was given 1 day's notice, and she claimed the setup felt like a trap, not a dialogue. What do you think? Comments. I want to hear what you think. Do you think after Candace's very own friend Charlie was killed at an event, Candace has been talking publicly about it, is it wise for her to travel all the way to people who she knows will be in an intense situation and be confronted by all of these people? Is that fair? When we're talking about life and death here, she's got a family, and her husband interfered. Her husband did what a husband would do. I would do that for my wife. And her husband said, like, no. People would say, yeah, it's his birthday, he's got family, he's got all, but the husband said no. I don't blame the husband for saying no, because there are some things that sometimes you got to say to your wife no, because that looked like a setup. That looked like what they call an ambush, right? That's not a fair debate. If you want to debate, get on live stream. Get on live stream, and then let's see how things go. Or you guys are the ones with more resources, because she's getting sued out of her head. Why don't you get on a plane and come to her then, if that's so serious to you? I'm just saying, Let's be honest here. And again, I keep saying, doesn't matter what you believe about Candace, the way she has taken apart this investigation, you would think she was the intelligence agency.
Guess what? Something interesting has taken place. This morning, TPUSA confirmed that the debate request and the sit-down request to respond to all of our very many questions actually came from Erica Kirk. They said that request was directed by Erica Kirk, and I find that to be compelling. And they also explained why it has to be in person. And I am curious to play that clip for you to see if you believe and accept their explanation, their reason why. Also, I have probably looked at more footage from September 10th than any human being in the government or otherwise, anybody on this planet. And I happened to take note of something that I find to be quite strange. And I want to toss it to you guys because the public is more perceptive and capable than our FBI. And obviously, yesterday we were discussing how they rescinded the offer because it had to be in person. Look at this comment, top comment. TPUSA takes them 3 months to respond. Also, TPUSA, you have 24 hours to respond. Like, what? Seriously, why? Where did this 24-hour thing come from, and why was it necessary? The second comment, this user writes, Tyler Robinson can appear in court by video conference, but Turning Point USA says Candace cannot attend their debate by similar means. Yeah, guys, we are starting to notice some things. It's weird. And we announced, or it was announced today, that Charlie Kirk's show, which they are continuing, and which once upon a time enjoyed the #1 spot on Apple Podcasts, has now plummeted, right? This is a tweet. Breaking news, the Charlie Kirk show has crashed in the rankings, falling to number 94 on Apple Podcasts, even though it routinely held the top 10 spot in the past and even reached #1 when Kirk was alive. The reason for that is simple. It is clear. People are telling you how they feel, and they feel that you are not being honest. They feel that they are not getting the truth from the very people who keep trying to market themselves as his closest friends. And I'm saying marketing intentionally because it feels as though they have transformed into a badly run PR firm from the early 2000s, where you try to use celebrities to influence the public. You get like, Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake to wear your denim, and everybody just then starts wearing denim, right? And I will add on to this that I certainly myself am compelled. I would say that it's an interesting twist in this debate story, if we're even calling it a debate offer. At least I was surprised. I was legitimately surprised to hear this morning that it was apparently Erica Kirk who called for TPUSA to formally respond to the mounting questions and to set the live stream. At least that's what Blake Neff is saying on the Charlie Kirk show. They received this morning phone calls from the viewers at home. And of course, somebody asked about the nature of how they went about trying to get me onto this live stream. Let's take a listen to that question being asked, I think from a woman named Gina. Let's take a listen.
Let's take Gina's question. Gina, welcome to the Charlie Kirk Show. What's your question?
Hey, thanks, guys. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. My heart's broken with the things that are going on with Candace. And I'm trying to make it all come together. I'm sure I'm not your only fan that is trying to do that because of the relationship that she had with Charlie. And one thing that I'm just trying to make come together in my head is why the invitation was extended to Candace, but not to Candace directly. Blake, I think you tweeted something out, and I don't know if, I don't know what's truth and what's not, but I do know that she said she didn't even see the invitation, and it was issued, Blake, I think at 12 on a tweet that you had, or at midnight, 12, not noon, midnight. And so it was like 9 hours later before she even knew that you said anything about her attending the show. And then she's saying she can't attend in person. Can she attend on a live stream, or, and you guys do live streams all the time. And is that going to be an option?
Gina.
I'm just trying to make this come together.
Of course, Gina. So first of all, our initial statement, it was on the show on Wednesday. I made it at the request of Erica. All of this has been at the direction and approval of Erica because she heads this. And so what we were announcing there is we said she has said things that are not true, and we did not address them for a long time. We stated the reasons why, that we thought a lot of them were just not, how to put it, we initially just thought no one would believe a lot of what was being said, and we also just, we remembered the same friendship that Charlie had, and we just hoped that this would go away without requiring any sort of direct statement or confrontation from us. So what was approved is we announced we are going to respond to this, and what I said was we are going to announce a date soon. We actually hadn't agreed on it at the time I read the statement. We're going to announce a date where we're going to respond to this, and once we announce it, Candace is free to attend in person. That is what we announced. And so once we agreed on a time, I announced what the time was going to be. Candace, for her part, had said, you name the time, you name the place. That is what we did. As for why it was put out at that time, I would just say I don't think she had any difficulty in finding out what our scheduled time was. It seems everyone found it out quite quickly. And lastly, on the point of why it's in person, I think it's pretty intuitive that given what is being said, what the way this has worked is that it's critical to be in person if you want to be authentic and to be detailed. And that is what we think is a fair request to make if she's going to participate. But regardless, it is going to go forward because we have agreed that some response needs to be made. And so that's going to happen when we announced it on December 15th.
Yep, and we actually got to hit it.
I'm one person,
Gina,
but
Gina, I'm sorry, we got to hit a radio break here. We can keep going in the break if you want for if you have a follow up. We'll be right back. We're gonna take a break from radio. We'll be right back.
So I love situational irony like that, where he is actually live streaming with Andrew Colvett. He's like, it's not authentic unless it's a person is in person, and Andrew Colvett's literally not in person as he's answering his questions. So I guess the show is not authentic or something. I also love Blake because he's trying so hard not to be condescending in that bit. It doesn't come naturally to him. He's extremely condescending. His obvious, how do I say this? We're shocked that you guys believe Candace. We're just very shocked, you dummies. And his excuse is that the reason he did this in the middle of the night on X is that it's to be expected, as if that's some sort of normal etiquette. Once you extend an offer, not only do you extend an offer, you say that it's a sincere offer. He used the word sincere. And when she is trying to get around to, hey, like, why does this need to be in person? Just to be clear, Blake is saying the answer to that is, quote unquote, it's intuitive that it is critical to be in person if you want to be authentic. Let me just run that sentence again because I consider myself to be pretty intuitive. I am intuiting right now that is absolute bullcrap. He says, quote, it's intuitive that it is critical to be in person if you want to be authentic. Yeah, they think you're stupid. They just think you're absolutely an idiot. And he says that that's fair. What are you talking about? My most contentious and my most viral debates have never been in person. Everyone assumes that when you extend an invite, that you're going to do whatever you can to make it happen, whether it's friendly, whether it's not friendly. When you come out and you say that you are live streaming, the assumption is that you are live streaming because you want the internet to be able to attend. Right? That's the whole purpose and function of live streaming an event, is that it invites everybody to be able to attend. So when you extend an invitation of live streaming and you don't explicitly say it must be in person, why would I assume that you're going to rescind the offer if I say that I can appear via live stream? Okay. They never said that when they made the offer and they were pretending that they were being sincere. They never made in person a point of their demands. They never also said that I had to respond within 24 hours. That's a hostage situation, okay?
Now, critics online have accused Candace of backing away. Supporters have said she was demanding fairness, but through the noise, Candace kept releasing information, more claims, more warnings, more signals that something about the official story did not sit right. She said federal agents tipped her off. She said there were foreign connections hidden from the public. What happened to those Egyptian airlines, she said? She said leadership within the TPUSA had questions to answer and that she will not stop until they answered them. At this point, the battle lines were drawn. Think about the risk. Candace Owens was not fighting the left. She was not arguing with media elites. She was challenging her own former allies, the people she had once stood beside. And doing this takes something rare: conviction, fearlessness, or, as the supporters will argue, the simple determination to get the truth, no matter who it implicates, no matter what it costs. When you know, you know. Candace was asking questions and questions. Is it wrong to ask questions, especially when your friend was brutally murdered? Do we just stay quiet? Is that what people expected to happen? Come on, guys. Let's use a bit of reasonability here. People are like, oh, you know, she wasn't that close to them. She wasn't Charlie's best. What are you talking about? Everybody witnessed something so diabolical, so evil happen. How can you stay silent? It makes no sense. She was asking questions that many felt that they were too scared to ask. She was pushing for transparency when others wanted silence. And she became the lightning rod, absorbing all the criticism, all the pressure, all the heat. But one thing was clear: she never backed down. So what do we have here? A murder that shook America and the whole world. A woman who chose truth over silence. A movement divided. A confrontation that could rewrite everything. Candace Owens is either uncovering the biggest political betrayal in recent conservative history, or walking through the fire to prove what she believes is right. Either way, one thing is certain: everyone will be watching the moment she steps onto that stage. Everyone will be listening to what she says. And after that, nothing will be the same. Nothing will be the same. Because when you know, you know. Well, if you enjoyed this deep dive, share this episode, because trust me, the next chapter is coming and you will want to be there when it drops. If you want, follow us, subscribe, like, share, comment, and of course, tell a friend to tell a friend. Vuvix TV, exclusive. My name is Jordan Kensington. Catch me on the next show where we give you the exclusives from the world of news, media, entertainment, lifestyle, and much more. Take it easy, look after yourself and each other. God bless you. Let's go.